ended up giving Immortals the Baron.
It's interesting, as the games go later, you see these teams kind of fall into a false sense of, oh yeah, we can do that, that's fine. When you kind of think 10 minutes ago, they would have never done that. Why now? It's very interesting when that moment.
Pressure of the stage,
exactly.
pressure of the game,
It
right?
is that pressure.
You can certainly feel, especially in games where it's stalling out. So a lot of why people talk about how it's such a mental game, right? You can feel like the game is slipping away even if it's not. You can feel like you're under pressure to do something even when you're not. And a lot of times that can force mental errors, decisions that teams would not do in a regular game, in a regular situation. That's why you sometimes see these kind of crazy Baron throws or crazy team fight mistakes.
Kind of fake yourself into thinking something's not happening and it should be. As well as then you see the games where you unfortunately are coming up with a sliver of health on each kill, and that changes your mentality to always go harder. You want those kills. You're a little more pressured into making mistakes. First ban phase through.
It's going to be Rengar.
It's going to be Rengar.
Got through again.
It's going to be Rengar. Camille, LeBlanc, obviously Chronologic Gaming, Rengar for Smithy, as it's been now traded back and forth between these two junglers all 3 games.
So you could probably expect Jhin first rounded as well. They could elect to go for Maokai Jhin combo. That would be pretty strong here with Varus off the table. Jhin is the next tier on there, so I think this is pretty smart. Taking away Huhi's Jace, where he was very successful in game 1, so they're not able to second round that, and they are kind of looking at it and now a new top lane, right? It's not Darshan on the Maokai.
Yeah.
He can go tank versus tank, but he can also, opt to look for more carry options where we have seen him also succeed, things like the Gangplank and so on and so forth.
It's always the easy Nautilus pickup if that doesn't go to the wayside in phase 2, but last pick here for pick phase 1. There's the Ashe and Huhi into the side. What do they want? Grab the support.
I think that they could grab Soraka here. The Ashe-Soraka combo worked very well for them in game 1, and it did get banned out second phase in game 2. So if they want to go for that, they certainly have the ability to, and I feel like Darshan and Huhi have the champion pool and have the flexibility to absorb some bans and still get picks that work for them.
There's such a big thing with Soraka too. You don't usually play against that long-range silence, then lockup of Equinox. So Alframu was using that huge in the other game to set up fights and just throw IMT for a loop.
Yeah, the follow-up on the Ashe Arrow or any other additional CC, this specific combo, they had these 3 core champions in game 1. You hit an Ashe Arrow, then you hit an Empowered Bola, then you hit a Silence. They all overlap, and it's very difficult to deal with. So this draft is going to be pretty interesting since we do not have mashed roles. The support and the jungle were taken for CLG, whereas top and mid were taken for Immortals. So now it is the turn to try to focus your opponent's champion pool, to try to get lane advantages and matchup advantages. So right now, we're seeing Immortals attack Huhi, banning away the Syndra, trying to take away any disadvantageous matchups for Ryze that they can do. Wouldn't be surprised to see Cassio getting banned out as well by Immortals, because that is something that generally Ryze struggles with here too.
Ryze, you see banned last game by Chronologic Gaming there in phase 2. Hobelter finally gets his hands on it, and it means priority here, locking in his first 3 picks. So
I'm
expecting to see some power from him.
Expecting Cassio, and then I'm expecting Counterlogic Gaming's last ban to probably be something like the Graves. Target Dardoch, try to push him even further down that tier list. They could pivot and try to attack Olay, which they have liked to do so far, but I do think it would be pretty smart. It's actually Nautilus, so they're going to leave Cassio open. They may have a specific plan for this, or they may simply be unafraid of who he's Cassio. I do still think that Grace is probably going to be a big option here, though.
Zix and Alframu, considering that final phase 2 ban.
Yeah, there's a lot of options on the table.
That is the Graves.
You want to talk through exactly what the team's response to this would be as well, right? So you want to try to use up that time. Make sure you're thinking it through. Dardoch, we did see him play Warwick once when he got targeted on the bans. It's possible that it could come out here again.
So true.
There's a lot of other options though still, right? Maybe not the S tiers from this patch, but you still have your Lee Sins, your Rek'Sais, your Olafs. There's a lot of things that he could go to there.
We've seen quite a few people play Elise, although she's far down, still in that list. But Lee Sin gets locked in. Dardoch going to be hopping around this game, and maybe focusing on that mid and top lane, as there will be quite a bit of kill pressure they can work with here. Stixxay, his tried and true hover, almost missed it last time. Of Warwick. Let's see what he locks in.
The solo lanes are both going to be revealed here for CLG. There are still some tanks available, such as the Poppy. You can go for things like the Trundle, but it's Darshan on the split push, locking in the Fiora there.
I like that. Just
And
like
now,
damage-dealing top laners.
Huhi, I mean, Huhi has options. He could still go for Assassins and things like this, but he could also go for a good lane matchup on the Cassio if he wants to play it. There's a lot of ways you can go. It's not like Cassio is a hard counter to Rise. It is something that's an advantageous matchup, and a lot of people do like to play it. But Aurelion Sol is open too, and does fit their roaming style. I think it also would work well in conjunction with, you know, the Ash Arrow. You shoot at the Ash Arrow, you follow it up with a Rengar ultimate coming in, the Aurelion Sol flying in. And Aurelion Sol can also make roams to topside to try to get the Fiora ahead, which will unlock Darshan in the split push. So look for Huhi to use that Aurelion Sol in conjunction with the Rengar and try to get Darshan ahead.
I like this once again. Teams going in with hardly any tank in the composition, looking to just purely fight it out. Flame's going to have that Maokai as we see possible Bard picked up here. Ole's been pushed back and forth with his supports, and this time he may have gotten one that he wanted, but still goes for the Bard this time, showing that he can still flex outside the pool we know of him.
Yeah, Ole has been pretty solid on the Bard. Really the initiators, you know, Thresh for the hooks, Morgana for the bindings, Bard for the ults. He has been strong on those champions, and they will have powerful initiation. When you look at the front to back team fighting for a team like Immortals, you have a very powerful frontline with the Maokai, with the Lee Sin falling in. You have the initiation of the Bard ult followed up by the Jhin. Rise is kind of one of those good mid-range mages that can get up in your opponent's face and really battle it out too. So a lot of this is going to be up to CLG to kind of stay maintained and not get flanked, not allow these guys to get behind them. Because if Afro is in the back healing his team up, great. But if he's getting kicked in or rooted up immediately by the Maokai, he's going to go down in a hurry.
You almost need to stop all that commotion so Darshan can have free roam, pick a target in and out.
That's exactly it. And giving Darshan time in the silence, right? Sometimes the way you win a game as a Fiora team is to never fight. You just let the Fiora split push until you win the game.
What time is it? Oh, 30 minutes? We have 15 more. We're good.
15 more, he'll be 6 items.
He'll touch a turret, he'll fall.
Yeah.
So putting Darshan back on the attack damage top laners. They're going to see him on Fiora this time. Aurelion Sol for Huhi, but Rise on Pole Belter. He does get his pickup for this matchup. Quite a few switches for both teams. CLG's bot lane does get to go back to the Ashe Soraka, which we saw control so much of Cody-san and Ole in the first game of this series. We're going into game 3. You can see the blue side and the green side. Pick your side now because you will forever have to hold your peace until they play again. It's only week 5, but we are on the Rift, and we will see who decides this game. Chronologic Gaming back on blue, Immortals on the red side, and we're off and running.
Certainly are. This game could be very explosive. Huhi is known for his extremely early roams. Loves to use that W to really kind of push in the wave early levels and then look for roams, but there could be some action. Look at these guys setting up a camp in this bot lane, and 60 doesn't see him.
Ooh, the binding stopping the damage on Ole. Smithy. A little crazy, but he'll obviously be fine.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go in there.
Face check a brush at level 1. It's okay. So top lane dance, they see each other.
A lot of level 1 commotion actually this series. Last time, a couple summoners were actually forced on CLG and exhausting the flash. It's easy to forget about that 15 minutes later when the game ended, but still. Have been pretty active. Both teams looking to get edges where they can.
Game 1, we had Immortals going mid lane with their Karma with Ole, trying to put some damage onto Huhi.
Yeah, the whole bot lane actually came. The Jhin threw down the Deadly Flourish too. Trying to get even more damage down. Teams are fighting more heavily for it, and CLG has always been known as one of the teams that does very creative, very prepared level 1s. Things like Darshan faking a leash, taking damage from a blue buff while his jungler starts on the bot side, on the red buff. So they love to do this kind of creative stuff, and it can really get you an edge. And here's Huhi. This is what he loves to do. You can push in the wave very, very fast and try to bully out your opponent in this way. And then you simply base very early. Once you're you can look for roams to the side lanes, or you can just get that level 3 and then fly right back to lane.
Huhi hovering the bottom side. Obviously telling Pole Belter that Smithy's going to be there, but they figure Rengar is already on his red anyways.
This is a Storm Raider Surge Aurelion Sol as well, so that's going to be one fast dragon if he's able to get it going.
We will see. He does like to control that lane. We see quite a bit who he can blast down to that second tier turret, but whenever they lose a bit of control, it just kind of fizzles out and they have to start working the side lanes, which is good, as the strategy also continues to work there. Just a quick push into Pobelter's minion wave here, and he'll be set up for actually a few nice waves close to the turret.
Ooh, nice little hawk shot there. As Dardoch is going to get spotted out, who he can cheat to the other side of the lane. I really do love the players that have their kind of unique champions, that have the ones that they're so good at. It's not necessarily meta, it's just them being really strong on it. You know, Froggen with his Anivia, Looper playing Singed a lot, Huhi with Aurelion Sol. These kind of picks, I think, can give you really nice edges in draft, simply because, oh, Flame's in trouble.
Whoa, he went back out! Flash is in, 1 for 1, but he wanted the first blood. That's what we like to see.
And that is actually really good for Darshan, because the lane is going to bounce back to him. His wave is crashing into the turret, so some CS is going to get denied. And he will be able to get that first blood gold, so he doesn't have to expend his TP. The TP has to be blown for Flame to get back there and pick up that farm. Darshan could just walk back to lane and really won't miss anything here.
Let's see this again.
So what Flame was trying to do is he thought he had him in range, yep. It just barely didn't get him. Both flashes blown. Even more attention is going to have to be paid to the top side now, because those summoners are down, and Darshan will have TP advantage.
They have good lockdown. Like we said, mid and top here for Dardoch could be big.
Yeah, but look at this. Both junglers are already up here. So if Dardoch goes for this fight, Smithy will be waiting. And generally speaking, the second jungler to show gets the edge in these sorts of fights. They get kind of the right target selection. But Darshan is down a level because of the XP that Flame did pick up under turret. So that is something that they are battling against. And we'll see if they do actually pull the trigger here. This could be a fight that decides the game. Potentially.
The cannon wave. Who's going to go first? You don't want to take that damage.
Oh, here comes
Small roam. There's a ward just to his left, so he will be seen. They'll get the ping off on that, but he feels like he can dodge over. He'll see Dardoch call that out. Top lane still going for the fight. Dardoch is doing everything he can to hit Huhi, but he wants to get to the team.
Huhi's very low, right?
Bit of a scramble. Yeah, they have to get out of that one. Dardoch was definitely the changing factor in CLG thinking they had the upper hand.
Yeah, Dardoch in that bush. Huhi flies straight through him and does take a lot of damage for his troubles. Will not have that kind of fly cooldown back yet either. And both these guys are somewhat low. This is, oh God.
Straight in, that's gonna be HP win only on the side of Immortals. Can't really see the abilities that are going down, but Darshan's still in. Remember, his flash is down. He's basically baiting himself. Sliver,
the Sapling could be ready soon.
Both of them, throws out the Q. Sapling not ready. Pobelter looking to clean up. Here's going to be one. No, the flash from Smithy gets him on the Rune Prison. A few more attacks, and he still gets the assist over to Dardoch and Flame.
Darshan gets taken down there by Pobelter on the rise. Roams up, and it's the rise that makes the roam work, not the Aurelion Sol. That is a game-changing fight there for them.
You got him
going.
Have to be aware though that roam almost, you could call it late, as Pobelter just felt he could farm mid, but CLG overstaying their welcome, and now they try to do bot, really just zoning out Ole here. Likes to stay when those turrets are going down. It looks like he's gonna follow in the same fate of the turret. Flash forward, deadly flourish, a few more attacks, the summoner heal coming in from Cody's son. What a bromant, they keep him alive and get out alive.
He does,
with
but
everyone.
You have to ask yourself, how is Immortals bot lane losing so badly that they just lost their turret at before 6 minutes? Anyway, back to the top lane fight. This one was very, very close. Dardoch almost going down, does not want to let the vital proc that would have been a kill for Darshan. And then 1 HP, I'm being told, was left on Smithy there. But in comes Pobelter. Summoners are down, able to pick up a couple nice easy kills. It was a good presence of mind from Pobelter to start making that roam, even popping the ghost to get up there faster. So a good job by him, but still, it's kind of a bit of a tragedy in the bot lane. This is 3 straight games that the Immortals bot lane has been getting absolutely blasted in the early game. You know, half the CS of your opponents. You give up a turret that fast, like that almost doesn't even make sense.
And we saw it as well. They did roam in the first game, but they got back safely. It's been Alfromu, and we haven't been down there that much. It was in the first game, keeping them off with the star calls, with the silences. Cody Sun and Ole can't even approach the minion waves, then are forced to farm under turret with volleys in their face.
Yeah, exactly. And now kind of establishing some control. So the bot lane is doing very well for CLG again. Thanks to that scuffle after the initial first blood, Flame is looking pretty strong in the top lane. Not only is he up in farm, but he's gotten some kill and assist gold, so he's going to be kind of right back in there, and that was big for Flame. They couldn't let Darshan get snowballing.
Still could be very dangerous. That top lane goes quiet for a while, and Darshan's just able to farm up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Good pressure from CLG as they get some deep wards. IMT's looking to clear.
Maokai, if he's ahead or even, he can hold on for a long time.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start falling behind, it gets out of control really fast. And CLG is trying to set up that situation, right? They're trying to put him behind. They're trying to control the topside jungle, even just by getting vision. They can make the roams that much easier for Huhi and the ganks that much easier for Smithy to really focus on that top side. So Immortals is doing a good job fighting back, even just for the vision control, contesting CLG in the jungle and trying to stop this from being taken over. 6A may get caught out here.
Ghost. He's got the shrine, but it's not going to hold. Rune Prison's going to be the next thing to come out.
Coming.
Just missed him on vision. Got him in the secondary. And Huhi does fly down to the assistance of his bot lane. But now back to the side lane push. They know Pobelter's pressure is going to be focused on the outside of the map now. We just saw this red buff being the priority of Xmithy. They have not been able to get it, though.
Yeah, they are just kind of consistently threatening this. This is the same thing. As I said, just try to threaten that top side jungle, control the vision, look to force plays there.
Slight approach from Flame. Him and Darshan got into it for a second there on the mini-map.
It's the buff that never ends, Riv. Goes on and on.
Just waiting for to make a mistake. Looks like Ole is going to be the last one at the buff. Pobelter draws an exhaust, flashes the arrow over the wall. This is a little bit of what they're looking for. They can't take the straight fight here, so they're looking to draw summoner spells, find somebody out. He connects! Ooh. Get the flash for the distance, and I don't think Dardoch wanted that one, though. Don't want to give too much up, but they do pressure out Darshan for a minute.
Yeah, he wanted to flash out of range of that resonating strike there, make sure he could go down, and Darshan going to collect some fruit, get back up that top lane, and see if they can't take down Flame, who's pretty far up there. Has his flash. We'll see if he does get slowed. Hit by the slow. Smithy's here now, too.
Go down, lock on, throw it out in front. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to chase Equinox, just missing. So they can't get the lockup on him. So Darshan gets a little bit of pressure. CLG answers immediately in that top side, making sure that Flame has to blow his teleport to get back to lane. Darshan's will just be up, and there may be a play they can make, but I'm sure Darshan wants to farm this out. 51 to 70 right now as he's just trying to build up his items.
Cody-san has been allowed the time to catch him in farm. So once again, you know, very behind in the early game, is able to pick up a lot of the farm thanks to the fact that his team had strength in the mid lane. And they could rotate Pobelter down there early, and they're looking to catch Darshan. Will that completes just barely.
So close.
If he TP's back still, though, they're going to look for the dive. So Darshan is probably going to have to make the long walk back, which will mean he misses more CS here. And that's definitely tough for him because although he had that great start, now he's TPing. This could be dangerous. Bard isn't there anymore, so likely we'll be okay.
Yep. Actually, the moment of the safeguard from Dardoch over the wall to let him know he's okay. So Flame backs. He's obviously low on mana. Expended it all. And we finally get the Tiamat here. A little bit of health.
Pretty key for Darshan.
Life steal, I should say. For
Ole didn't
Darshan.
actually stay, you know.
Yeah.
Had Ole been a little bit more patient, if he TP's in there and dies, that can put you so far behind. When you expend the teleport, then all the waves crash, you lose all that experience, you fall so far behind.
It's definitely been a little safer in his moves this time. And a lot more warding from that bot lane. As soon as they got broken out last time, it seems like they kind of floundered a little bit and tried to control where CLG went. But Immortals, step ahead in the warding, are able to get some into that top side of CLG's information. It seems to be helping stay alive for now. 3-1 as we start this game off, but no particular lead in anyone's favor. First turret blood for CLG. I believe it has been all 3 games. They're quite strong on taking those down.
We'll see who makes the first move towards the Infernal. And that has been Immortals that have been prioritizing the Dragons more heavily throughout this series. And they have been very, very good about timing their Dragon takes around their opponent's basing and things like that. Thanks in part to their vision control and knowing when their opponents aren't there to actually stop that. So with their jungler on the bot side of the map, they could look to do that. A lot of it often comes down to, though, who is able to actually make the first pick. And this is a long lane here. Smithy has the ultimate. They're looking for the fight here. Immortals somewhat caught out.
Gather with Dardoch. There's a ward above them. It's kind of far away, as well as Flame's pushed up to his turret, so they may not be able to use it. CLG making these moves when they know they have the map pressure. And Flame, every so often, just trying to get Darshan in turret range, but he knows it's coming and gets out of the way.
Darshan able to anticipate that, and Flame is battling pretty well here, holding on. The early tabbies help a lot, And it will be Immortals, as expected, starting this up, especially with Smithy not having the ultimate. It's very hard for that Rengar to actually get involved. And look at the Jhin from behind. He's ready for the ultimate.
Opens up beautiful vision as well. The arrow onto Jhin. Cody Sun's going to have to approach the fight. Smite from Dardoch as he flashes out, leaving the Dragon very low for Xmithie. Dardoch, a sliver of health, trying to approach, and they are now chasing CLG down the river. And it doesn't look like CLG has a paddle for the moment. They're going to be able to drop Xmithie now. Red buff transfer over to Flame for a top lane assistance. Deadly Flourish on Cody Sun, one more shot. And now they're going to be looking to finalize on Aphromoo. They pull off the turret. Could be in their favor more than those follow-up kills.
If Darshan bailed out on the chase, he decided to go towards mid lane. A lot of low health bars for Immortals, though. Maybe he could have got something done, and now they are kind of lying in wait. Gonna see if these guys do stick around a little bit too long. It looks like it will not be the case, however.
Good pressure by Flame. We'll see that one again in a second. Top lane was all evened out, so time here for Immortals after some pressure, but they lose the Dragon.
So Smithy in onto Dardoch there, able to get a lot of damage out on him. Dardoch actually got just too close to the bush, and he got vision, able to jump straight in. Olay, with a pretty nice Bardal defensively, is able to keep him alive, and then safeguards out away from Huhi. But this does give the Dragon, oh my god, Smithy failed that flash on that wall. That is an easy one. So you definitely got to make that happen, and it ends up being the kills to Immortals. The Infernal does go the way of CLG, but for now, the strength is certainly in Immortals' hands. Yeah. And since they have a fantastic team fight, grouping, initiation type comp, they need to be the ones to push the pressure and kind of initiate and start fights. Don't allow the game to just delay and delay and delay and get Darshan to that stages. So now it's on Flame. He has to get stuff done.
It's a mid laner's war when the fights start like that. See Huhi and Pobelter on the top, and Pobelter charging up nicely. Rod of Ages is finished. Tier is currently at 364 of 750, so actually getting that charge at a pretty rapid pace. 2-0-1 for him is finally getting to a good start this game, where he may be able to pressure that advantage a bit. He's kind of been hitting on the result of engagements lately, and they haven't been his own. We'll see that power from him.
And we'll certainly see that power increase as he hits level 11 for the level 2 Realm Warp. He can look for those engagements from further away, so he can kind of use that power that he has built up, as you said, and look for the engages with the team. You know, even Realm Warping in his teammates. Flame is very strong right now too. You can set up the Realm Warp. You don't even have to go in it. Just send the Maokai in. Yep. That sets him up for the flank. Then you all pile in. You look for the engage, and that's what they need to do. Because CLG wants this game to go slow. They want this game to have no kills. Nothing happened for the next 20 minutes. They're smiling because it means that Fiora is farming and will eventually get that lead in the side lane.
Already a Hydra. Not going to be able to do too much. Ooh.
Pobelter caught out.
Back. Oh my word.
Look at the CC chain. Ash
that
arrow
is unfortunate.
Into the Aurelion Soul Stun, into the Silence route. They will trade turrets. We'll see how much they want to go for. Nice Bard ulti.
It's so interesting that both teams are just able to now, after a Dragon, after the reset, be so out of place. A hit in mid, Xmithie then in the jungle. Seems both teams kind of in a fluster right now. Mid does go down in the favor of Counterlogic Gaming.
Still good for Immortals. Because of that pickup on Smithy, they have the numbers advantage pretty easily on the bot side here, and they're going to get 2 turrets instead of just the 1, plus the kill trade.
Just toying with Darshan, in and out. And Stixay is going to hold off in the jungle and just back there. So Immortals acting very quick off of seeing the pressure in the mid lane, say, top is ours. Let's go for it.
They're able to do just that, and now it's Darshan in a pretty scary world. No turrets on his side of the map at all. Here is this engage again, and it's all about the CC chain. This is a lot of kind of what you're buying into when you do draft this composition for CLG. So Ash Arrow, they're going to follow it up with the Aurelion Soul Stun. And then you see Afro prepping the Silence. That comes down. That is then going to root him right out of it, so he never even gets a chance to move. And you can also add the Empowered Bola into that from Rengar. So they have powerful CC that they can layer up. But obviously you need to kind of have the time to do it, and you don't always get that when a Maokai's charging down on you.
Huhi and the rest of the team of Counterlogic Gaming playing very well off mid Fog of War. Previous Jace game, as well as setting up a few things here. You see Dardoch and the rest of the team saying, need a few more wards on the shoulders. And be safe from a lot of those engages. That still doesn't stop CLG from engaging straight down mid lane or across the entire map. We'll keep an eye on that.
Dardoch has been having a much better game for himself. Finally does get that good start, and it's Smithy on the receiving end. Not looking too hot on the Rengar so far. Has not been able to really get anything done this game whatsoever. So, you know, he's having a bit of a tough time. When your Rengar falls behind, he gets a lot less effective, right? If you're under-leveled, if you don't have enough items, you can't pull off those kind of easy one-shots. And since he doesn't have the CC immunity on his W now, it's harder to get out of the fights as well. So you do definitely start to get in a tough position. And now this is Immortals trying to enforce their will on the team.
Look for a big Bard ult here.
TP coming in.
Down to the backside. Stixay's locked up as he goes for an arrow. The team focuses there. Flame onto Huki, but they have Smithy there. He is a big tree. I don't know if they're going to be able to take him out too much. Curtain call from behind. Cody-san gets himself in a good spot and still takes an arrow to the face. Stixay goes down for his troubles. A deadly flourish over to the left side. Nice job to take down Huki.
Oh, the ultimate healing back up.
Immortals is finding their hits. Pobelter goes down. Darshan looking for the fight now. If they can get out of Cody-san and Ole, they're so squishy, just out of range, but they could have that red buff burn. He turns around trying to get a last shot out. And Darshan with the late arrival to the party starts it off.
Darshan, triple kill for him as the dragon is spawning so big for CLG, and Ole not going to get caught out, but that is the last thing you want. This is the worst person for Immortals to see those kills going over to. As Darshan is going to be so strong off of that. Immortals really wanted to try to force their will in that fight, but they were not able to get the proper setup. Their team got split. They didn't have the strong battle lines that a composition like this wants to have. And when you have all these individual little skirmishes going on, this is where it can go bad for them. So,
see it again.
You know, Pobelter is running away here. It's kind of two here. There's two up top. There's one coming in from the bottom. You can see Dardoch is now split. 3 men chasing up there. There's all these little fights going on. This is where CLG's composition will succeed, right? Smithy able to jump in and out of the bushes, kind of get a lot done for him, and nice ultimate there does interrupt. But this is really why CLG was able to succeed, because there's not 5 people focusing a Fiora, 5 people focusing a Rengar down. They're all spread out, so these guys can kind of go around and duel people one after another.
Yikes! So many dashes and jumps as well.
Yep.
Changing your focus here on this Counter Logic squad. And you got to remember, you got quite a bit of heals coming in from Summoner as well as Wish. Soraka can provide for the team.
That's another really good point. The long fights usually go in the favor of Soraka because the more heals you get out, it's a second, a third life bar, especially in conjunction with the Fiora ultimate getting proc. That's healing. Fiora gets a lot back from the lifesteal on the Ravenous Hydra, as well as the vitals, and they're looking for Pobelter. He is flashless.
He steps back. He has to into the damage, but they play that.
Oh, he's down!
Realm Warp out. There's no burn, no red buff. Safe, very nicely played by Pobelter. They're able to come back with a kill here. One last Sonic Wave, who he is able to deny a bit of distance to Dardoch. CLG running parallel to them down the river, or I should say jungle to the river, and they get out of this one. So, Immortals still has a trick up their sleeve to say, CLG, you feel like you have the upper hand, we'll play right into that.
That was a great play
save
from Pobelter, staying alive, denying the last vital, kind of hugging that wall a bit. The fact that he lives is massive as it gets them that kill.
He's scratching
slows down.
Definitely a better game for him. They did prioritize that Rise. He's got to be feeling a lot better here with some kills and damage under his belt. Looking like there could be a wrap down quite quick for himself as they find Smithy. No stun on the Cosmic Binding, but he might be seeing stars soon. He's definitely going to be seeing
Stixay. The rest of the team's coming.
Can they follow up? Huhi trying to separate, but Huhi putting himself in front is not the best way to separate the fight and your teammates. Immortals takes advantage of that right quick.
And that is exactly the kind of fight that Immortals wants. They started off, they're a 5-man squad all on the same side. Fiora arrives to that fight, but how does she really get involved? There's no way for her to run straight up the middle, so now is going to be another turret off the back of this, and this is a gold lead that's extending quite a lot for Immortals. Darshan really wants to be in a side lane, farming it up, playing it slowly, but Immortals is pushing the pace, and even though 1 or 2 fights have gone bad for them, now comes the Rise.
After Mu gets out, can they close off Smithy? Room Prison, Deadly Flourish. The CC from this team is ridiculous. We also see why the Rise added in that CC and damage is usually on the ban list. So much follow-up crowd control here from Immortals.
They're going to get another turret, I think. I mean, CLG's just backing off, and Immortals is just roaming around as this squad, not allowing Darshan the time to actually get in the side lanes and get any pressure down. I think Darshan just honestly should keep pushing, though. I mean, what are you accomplishing here? He walks all the way over, And then he's like, oh, guess can't do anything. Now he walks all the way back, so he's not established any pressure in the bot lane. He's losing some CS there too, and he didn't accomplish anything in the mid lane. So yes, you want to be there and defend, but you have to be able to realize I couldn't get anything done there and try to get what you can, which was wave pressure, which was CS, and he is now doing that. But he needs to be the carry. He needs to get massive, so he has to sometimes prioritize his needs over that of the team.
And come late game, he should be able to tear through Flame. If he can tear through Flame, that means he obliterates the rest of the team. But like you're saying, it's kind of just patience is the key here.
Yeah.
And stay in that side lane.
Because you need multiple items on Fiora to do this, right? Really, it's kind of the trinity of items. You need lifesteal, you need the wave clear, and lifesteal comes somewhat from the Hydra. Then you get Black Cleaver, that's your armor pen. Then you get the Bloodthirster. And once you have those 3 items, generally speaking, tanks can no longer touch you. You simply out-lifesteal their damage, and you're shredding through them with the Black Cleaver. Yeah. So that allows you to really, in conjunction with the Vitals and the true damage you get, smash them. But until you're at that stage, you're not going to be so dominant in the side lane, and you're going to be less impactful in the team fights.
So with the current map, what is the best way the rest of CLG facilitates that for Darshan?
It's getting vision, right? You have to be able to make him feel safe in these side lanes. So if you look at the extended vision of CLG across the map, there's no deep wards right now, right? So they need to be able to kind of move their vision lines up slowly, piece by piece. Once they have this blue side of Immortals jungle littered with wards, Darshan can push aggressively, knowing when people are coming to collapse on him.
See this fight against Pobelter. He is in the minions trying to reach the Vitals. Bottom side, dashes for it. Pobelter hiding it against the wall. Could come up with a kill. Oh, he gets it!
He's in the heal now. He could actually perhaps get out because Soraka's coming.
Yes, he's going to be running towards him as well with that passive movement speed, so they'll have him very quickly. Aframu just on the heels of Darshan and Huki. They're stopping each other halfway through with a wall of opponents. Dardoch picks up a kill. There's the Bard ultimate to come out and try to disengage. Everybody takes the journey. Aframu wants it. Can he get the stun? He receives one himself. But that is Darshan in the bot lane, giving a little bit of love to Immortals.
That 2-for-1 trade, the Soraka ultimate, massive in the turnaround, keeping him alive long enough that Pobelter felt he had to flash out. That allows him to proc the last Vital, which allows him to survive till the rest of his team gets there. That was a big turnaround. Another couple kills go over to Darshan, and he really needed that. As if another fight went bad for him, it would have been pretty devastating. So big play from CLG, and as Darshan gets more assistance from his team, you'll see Aframu complete his Redemption. Redemption is a semi-global ability. You can actually use that almost, from the mid lane near jungle to the bot lane. If you hit that plus the ultimate on Soraka, that's something that they have to calculate into their fight, right? Is Pobelter considering the extra health that he's going to get from that?
And how does this feel for Darshan? You're talking about getting that health steal, or life steal, I should say, from the side lane, so he can just hang out if he's not in combat and get sustained up. Now we'll see this fight again.
And this is very well played from Pobelter, trying to hide his last Vital. He should have just stayed there, though. He doesn't. He moves away from the wall. That actually not only cost him his life, letting the Vital proc, but gives Darshan the ultimate proc, right? So even if he died, it wouldn't have been as powerful a heal without the last Vital being procced. And now Immortals setting up for the flank. You can see they want to go for this. Flash forward.
Ooh, that was
quick blast from Smithy. That was actually so fast. Smithy had very little time to react to that flash Bard stun. Gets over the wall here. Big for him to not get picked off. That allows Darshan to keep split pushing.
Smithy trying to hold him off at bay. They're going to see Pobelter here in the bot lane quick. I wonder if they try to activate something. Darshan's on the top. And there's the arrow. They will try to, as soon as they saw Pobelter, it was Ole. Remember, the Bard ult was just used. GLP from Huhi putting on the extra damage to get the kill. Now flames in the eyes, but Dardoch puts himself in. Double kick as Huhi's the main target.
Darshan's here.
Darshan is in. They're on to Flame. They said, tank? What tank? Cut him down and make him some lumber. Now it's Cody's son. Last shot. They do find Darshan as he tries to edge out of the fight. And now it's Cody's son backing off. They get what they need, which is pressure on the turret. But Pobelter had to come in very, very late for this fight.
Yeah, this is the problem. They're not respecting the Soraka healing. It messes up all the math on these plays. Dardoch, you kick in the Aurelion Soul there normally, great. He just goes down. Instead, he gets healed massively back up, doesn't die to the turret, buys them so much time. The power of the Soraka is not being respected here by Immortals, and they are paying big time for it. Smite is available for Smithy.
Cody's
he should be able to take this down. Okay. This makes it a little bit scary, but you still have Smite, you still have Q. There you go. They waited it out. Smart play.
Stixay smites it down. So we'll see this again. It's Chronologic Gaming
So watch this. This is, once again, we talked about it. Arrow, silence, stun, all three overlap. Olay, he uses flash to engage, no chance for him. Now Dardoch makes a good play, or what would be a really good play in most situations. So he kicks him in, then watch how much healing he's getting. Afro move, there's the ultimate. Now there's Redemption, 1W, 2 Ws. There's a third heal coming out. Then the Fiora ultimate comes down. It's all piggybacking off of itself, right? You're allowing people to get the time to get their abilities off and to heal up and to get even more out. So Soraka really enabling that dive, and Afromu has been huge this game, even just with the R press.
It's been working. Honestly, if they get banned out in a Aurelion Soul here, you throw a Zillion in this comp to make your hair pulled out even more.
Certainly can be
Nobody's
really
gonna
annoying.
die.
And we've seen Zillion a number of times, and Zillion can work well, with hyper carries like Dora and stuff like you said. So certainly something we could see. But who he has been doing very well in the Aurelion in this game and got his hands on it. You can see the tanky build that he's going as well. He wants to be in the mix, make sure he can't get bursted down, and allow this time for Afro to heal him back up. So he's frontline, he has a Banshee's Veil, he has 2 items that stack HP, Merc Treads, right? This is a very tanky build. Yes, he won't do as much damage, but he'll always be in the fight, slowing you with the orbs, being annoying, and being the semi-frontline tank. So I think this build, especially in conjunction with the Soraka, super smart.
It's that patiently waiting game.
They're looking for the engage. They're trying to use this pink ward as a bait. Oh, he did hit them with that Ebola. I'm not sure if he noticed, but we'll see.
Should have been an audio cue.
Here they go.
Ult goes down, obviously puts the scary eyes. Oh, Pole Belter almost down to half HP. You got to remember, Smithy's still putting out a lot of damage. Seraph's Embrace for Pole Belter. Curtain call onto Xmithy. Main target should go down. Last shot. And he actually gets hit up by Pole Belter. Teleports are Katie corner to herself. And it looks like
Darkron's on Cody-san.
Going. Cody-san goes down.
Look at all the healing from the ult.
Hit. He is on everyone. Can't find the right vitals. Push to the other side, but he can't get a lockup out. And he goes down from the crowd control. GA coming back up here. Turret focus is not even what CLG's looking at. They want to hit the health bars before they get the minion wave up there. And Darshan is still looking for the fight. Immortals cannot even approach this right now, and CLG is using the strength to their advantage.
Look, this Afro mode just heals all the carries back up, does not prioritize his health bar. That is the correct play. Even the pick on Smithy should have been a kill right off the bat. It's delayed so much by Afro. And then the team committing to the kill on Rengar allows Darshan to come in. Cody-san split from the team, goes down to Darshan, and that really did push it their way. And this is something that should be such a fast kill, but once again, just track how much healing is coming down on Smithy, right? He's already been healed for well over 1,000, and he gets healed again, and then again, and he finally goes down, but now Cody-san, he's back by himself here. The Fiora's coming in. He should have been getting out of there. That is a big positioning error from the AD carry, not respecting the TP Fiora. And Darshan, this is something that most players in this situation would not have done. He went for the third item GA instead of the split push because he likes to take his advantage, as we've said, and bring it to the team fight, right? So he uses a more team fight oriented buy to allow him to go aggressive in that fight and try to get his team the edge. It gets him the inhibitor paying off big time, and he can go for Bloodthirster next.
That's the strength a lot of the CLG fans were looking for, or asking for. Where's that Darshan?
Oh, he's silenced. He can't jump out.
That plays on tanks, isn't delivering the damage. The rest of the team coming in. Tempered, look at this. Pause over the wall, looking so good. The Tempered Fate just pauses Dardoch's life-ending moment for a little longer, but he still goes down. 45 seconds, as you can see on the timer. And CLG has Darshan in the bot lane. Nobody can tango with him now, so the rest of the members yo-yo that offensive Immortals in the mid lane, and they're going to be spread thin for just about the rest of the game. Ocean Drake is up. A third one would mean Darshan could stay out and play forever.
Certainly would, and with one member down, it's really hard to match the CLG squad, moving back and forth, and now they are grouped up. 5v4 here. They're trying to force it in the mid lane.
Back and forth. Stick stays focused on the turret. We can't get too much, as there is still pretty good wave clear coming in from Pole Belter and Cody-san if they're still at the turret.
This is the right call now. As Dardoch is coming back up, you didn't get anything done. Go and take the lesser prize, clean up that dragon. But Immortals is moving down. They could look to delay with the Jhin ultimate. Bard ultimate is not available, so it should already be gone. But the question is, can they get a fight afterwards? They know that Smithy blew his ult. CLG looks to disengage.
All waves pushing, you can see. Priority set with a ping towards the top side here from Immortals. What's the next move for Counter Logic Gaming? Is it still send Darshan bot or wait for TP then pressure what could be somewhat of a Baron.
I think generally speaking, you're going to want to keep the 4-man squad mid, allow Darshan to go bot. You have the top lane naturally pushing in with the super minions, so Darshan can create pressure in that bot side, and Maokai cannot really answer him 1v1, so they can look to just continue to push up the lanes. Even if you can't threaten the turrets, you take control of your opponent's jungle, you farm both sides of the map, you extend the lead.
Also, to look at the moment we've been kind of seeing in the past few games is you're in the lead, don't press yourself to do something. I just kind of mentioned Baron, but that's not necessary for CLG here. If they did it, it's just Immortals' chance.
They kind of have the ticking time clock of that Fiora. In some compositions, you do have to press it. You do have to go for something right away.
Yeah.
In this case, it's more on Immortals, because while their team fight, with the Maokai and everything is super powerful, Darshan is now getting so strong that it stops being able to be answered by the Maokai, right? So Flame is kind of forced to start these engages and look for really good fights, try to find flanks, things like this. Whereas CLG is pretty happy to just pressure the map. Look for Olay to try to find a Bard ulti here, though. They are trying to clear out vision, allowing them to set up for a play.
Both Dardoch and Xmithy having interesting games on their Rengars. Not too many kills, but always being there to assist in the engage for the team. Act as a deterrent for the re-engage. There he is, back to Pobelter, finding his priority target. Voice of Light all the way back to Cody Sun. He's still holding on to the curtain call, so close to the front line of CLG. Back to Fire Flame, trying to mitigate the damage as it comes in. Darshan to flash forward. A nice Cosmic Binding to save the rest of the members from Olay, but it's only a matter of time. Flame will fall, and the rest of the team's looking for health on the fountain. The Nexus turrets in the eyes of CLG.
It's just way too much healing for CLG. Avramu keeping everyone alive. They're going to get another kill on the Pobelter. This will be the turrets going down, the Nexus going down, as CLG will take down Immortals.
Beautifully played, 2-1. Chronologic Gaming do find the win in the series.
And this was a really nice series from CLG. It felt like they're back to some of their old tricks. They're back to some of their old form. Aframu with some massive support performances on the Soraka was very, very strong. The bot lane from CLG was dominant in all games in the laning phase. They crushed. This is when they took a first turret at about 6 minutes. And Darshan on split push, he's successful. Puhi looking good on roaming champions. I mean, this is the CLG special.
They definitely used the Soraka Ashe to throw Cody Sun and Olay for a loop. Nothing they brought to the bot lane kept them up in CS, kept them from being under their turret. So like you said, huge props to the bot lane as well. The fourth man in line. Kazuhi, Aframu, Xmithy, and there he is, Darshan, that man in the top lane. Coming back nice on the Fiora, great gameplay with strength for the team, and that's what people have been looking for.
I mean, they get their win last time, Gangplank for Darshan, now Fiora for Darshan. He can play these carries, and it feels like CLG really is getting back to playing their game. This is what they have been lacking. They've been focusing too much on their opponents, according to Hui, not playing their own style, and now, as they get back to that style, they're looking more and more successful. They are looking like a much stronger team.
And we have to look at the flip side as well, with a bit of strength as well coming out of that mid lane from Pobelter. Once again, statistically, Immortals couldn't find the win again this week.
No, they definitely couldn't. And Flame, he looked good on the Rumble, right? So that is another champion in their arsenal, something that they can take away from this. When he got back to the Maokai, he didn't feel as effective, even though he had a good start to the game. His 2 Rumble games, I think, were very impressive. Pobelter had some pretty strong ones himself. Not the best showing from Dardoch, especially the earlier games. He was struggling in the bot lane. While Cody Sun has been effective in the late game, Immortals needs to shore up their laning phase.
Absolutely. We actually see a kind of moment where Immortals thought they had the lead here. 26-30 in mid lane fight. CLG 4 for 1, and they see Pobelter and allow mid to push up.
I mean, Pobelter is out in a side lane. He doesn't have TP. He has no business being there. And the CC chain comes in. And this was really what so much of the comp was about, is the healing. We talked about it during the game. Afro move. There's the ultimate, the W, the redemption. There's thousands of healing coming out from him in every team fight. So if you cannot kill off these guys quick, you will not kill them off at all, especially with a champion like Jhin, who is more spellcaster focused, more burst focused than sustained DPS. It's not Jinx in the backline. You have to burst people out. And it didn't feel like Immortals was actually prepared for the Soraka. It's hard to actually take into consideration how much extra damage you sometimes have to deal.
When you don't think these fights are going to go long, you don't have any tanks, everybody should just die off. But with the heals, you're putting yourself in the advantageous position. For more on that win, let's check in with Pastry and the victorious mid laner.
Thank you very much. I'm here with Hui after CLG's very close series against Immortals. I have to ask you, a long back and forth series. How are you feeling about your play just throughout the series in general?
I mean, to be honest, I was pretty disappointed on how I played today because not only I got solo kill, I just felt like I didn't play that well, but my team were there to back me up, so it was a pretty good win.
And it does feel like the mid lane metagame is quite diverse right now. You played 3 different champions this series, all quite different. Are you comfortable with this sort of metagame? Because you've got your pocket picks like the Aurelion Sol, but also you're on the meta picks like Jace said. Are you happy with this many champions in the pool?
Yeah, it's really easy. I mean, really fun to play like lots of champions. Since like I also like to play assassin champions such as Zed or Akali, like Ari. So I just hope that I can bring up those kind of champions to the meta as well, so that like we'll have a lot of fun.
And then finally, CLG, it has been a rough start for you, but it's always been about kind of banding together and having a push late in the season. You said in an earlier interview that it feels like you wanted to focus on your own play and your team's own play rather than the enemy team. Has that been the thing that's really helped CLG kind of push themselves forward? Because the team does look much better now.
Yeah, I think like that's one of our advantage. Like in the beginning of the season, we were really slow. Like I'm not going to lie, we were really bad. And like as time goes on, people had a lot of issues to each other, and we just had time to talk about it and solve it. And nowadays, it just feels really great that we're like kind of resolving every problems, and we feel like every single game we're keep getting better.
Well, congratulations. Great series there and a fantastic win for CLG. Thank you, Hui, very much for talking to me. Earlier today, though, we did manage to catch up with Cloud9's owner. Let's hear from him.
Hey guys, Dash here with C9 Jack. Going to do a little pre-game interview leading into the Cloud9 TSM series that we've got going on today. But before we get to that matchup in particular, I want to take a trip down memory lane. Let's go all the way back to Split 1 for Cloud9. You've got Balls, Meteos, High, Sneaky, Lemonation. Talk to me about the formation of this team, you know, the way that those personalities meshed, and kind of what your guys' initial journey was here in the North American LCS to find such tremendous success at such an early stage.
You're going way back for me to think about those days, and it was a whirlwind success period. You know, the early days, you know, High had just qualified for the LCS under Quantic, and he approached me as someone to make a team for him that could give him all the support he needs to be successful in the LCS. And I was looking for a team. I actually, a lot of people don't know this at the time, but I actually had owned Coast at the time, and things weren't working out with the roster, and I was trying to make the impact I wanted to make on the roster, and they weren't happy with it. So it gave me this opportunity to actually let go of that team and pick up Quantic and build this team with High, Lemonation, Sneaky, Balls, and the crew that we saw at that time.
And you guys went 25-3 in the regular season, sweep the playoffs, 6 games to 0, right? So now all of a sudden we're at 31-3. That's a 91% win record in the very first split of the North American LCS for Cloud9. You've set a tremendous bar for yourself at this point for every future split. And so I guess my question to you now moving forward is, you know, with that lineup, you guys had, you know, ups and downs as a roster, but you never quite achieved that same level, right? In that 31-3 split. Talk to me about being an organization that has had to deal with, you know, this expectation of being top 3 or winning the North American LCS and representing at Worlds every single season.
It's really tough when you have a split that we were that dominant. Like, it didn't matter how far we were behind. I still felt like we were going to win it. And the LCS has changed. It's grown up a lot. The practice schedules of the teams have changed, and the seriousness that everyone takes when they approach LCS has completely been raised. So I don't think that we'll ever have another season quite like that where we're that dominant. But I don't really think about it in my daily life. What I really am thinking about is trying to make sure that we approach every day with a positive attitude, ready to learn, and with a drive and passion to win. That's really what I focus on with my team.
Well, and so here you are, right? However many years later, 3 years later, and the roster has changed. Just last week, you actually had to play against some of your children, in a sense, right? I mean, it was watching your kids fight. You've got Balls, High, Lemonation on one side. You've got your organization in Cloud9 and Sneaky, the remaining face of that original lineup, on one side. What was that like to watch, you know, the success of the Cloud9 players continue throughout the North American LCS, but not all of them on your team?
It was actually, I think the weeks leading up to that event was a lot more worrisome than the actual game, because what I didn't want to see was my team get crushed by Fly, and I didn't want to see those players that I have such a strong connection to get crushed by us. And I honestly, like, I couldn't have ended better with a 3-game series that was really tight, where they could hold their heads high even though they lost to us. And that's, for me, obviously the perfect ending.
Absolutely. FlyQuest still sitting there right in third place, so in contention for top spots when it comes to playoff runs and perhaps visitation to Worlds come summer split. But now let's go ahead and look at where Cloud9 is at now, right? Undefeated in this split still, going up against his. That's right? Undefeated here. So in a sense, you said maybe we won't be able to repeat split one of our NA/LCS careers, but you're already on the track to doing something pretty great in the undefeated split. But you've done it with 4 new players, right? An entirely different roster. So talk to me about the Cloud9 organization and having to return to that same level of competition, but with new players, with new coaches, with new infrastructure behind you.
Right. So this didn't happen overnight. This was a culmination of months of work. We needed to move to a system where players could almost be like modular. We could plug them in and they understood what it took to be a Cloud9 player. The effort that was expected and the passion and to actually win was there. We also had to have the correct coaching staff, correct management behind us. So it took a long time to get where we were. And we obviously had some serious stumbles. Summer of 2015 was brutal for us. We never had a losing split before. And to go through that just highlighted how important it was for me to build a system where we will never have that happen again.
Right, but here they are back up on top. And now specifically related to the matchup today, how are the players feeling in terms of pressure? Because some of these guys, right, joined the team much later than that stigma of Cloud9 being such a dominant team. But the expectation now is that they will beat TSM and pretty handily today, even though TSM's sitting in second. So is the pressure starting to, build up and make its gains on the team, and how are we dealing with that?
Well, I think the system that we have in place right now actually has the players' heads in a good spot. They take it one game at a time. They don't think about what happened the last prior weeks. They understand what it takes to actually win. It's possible we could lose. If we lose, we're not gonna cry about it. We're gonna get ready for the Sunday's game.
Well, and Sunday's game, you're actually going up against Meteos, of all people, who's subbing in for Inori. So as we talk about your players making their way around the North American LCS, Cloud9 as an organization has actually been kind of the home base, or maybe the launching pad for a number of individuals, not even the core 5 that you guys started with.
Yeah, I mean, I see Dignitas, I see Lod. Lod lived in our game house for months. And, Keith was a part of the organization. You could look over in Europe, you can see a lot of the Cloud9 Clips guys and H2K. We are constantly scouting for new talent. And that's a big piece of what makes us be consistent. And that's a big part of the future of Cloud9 as well.
All right, well, final question, just to put a close on this. Does Cloud9 win the North American LCS Spring Split?
I'm thinking about TSM today.
All right, okay, that's an acceptable answer. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me right now. And, of course, best of luck to your team in the matchup later today.
Thanks for having me.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head to a commercial break for just a moment, but we'll be back on the other side.